So I know it is the G League, but Bronny James looks so much better than he is supposed to be. All I have ever wanted was to see this man succeed, and right now, he is playing with so much confidence. It's fun to watch. He just dropped nearly 40 points. Yes, he had 39, and he really caught the world by storm. I genuinely don't think Bronny has that many haters. I feel like a lot of people do actually want to see him succeed. Obviously there are a few, specifically in the media, but it's great to see how Bronny has really been nothing but positivity since coming into the league. And from barely scoring 3 points a game in college, now he is playing with so much freedom, and I want to break down how he was able to have the game of his life. But before I begin, I want to introduce you guys to the WonderFan app. I know if you guys watch my channel consistently, you've been seeing me promote this app a lot, but I for real just want to put you guys on, because WonderFan is breaking the sports world. It is an app that is free to download on the App Store that basically pays you just for being a sports fan, which I'm assuming is what majority of you guys already are. Like, I was just at a March Madness game in person the other day, and while I was there, I earned over 200 Wonder for doing literally nothing except pressing that I was at the venue in Cleveland on the app. And for 100 Wonder, you can enter into the $1,000 raffle that WonderFan does every week, or for around 1,000 Wonder, you can redeem $10 to $15 gift cards to places like Chipotle, Nike, Uber, and so much more. So go to the App Store now and download WonderFan. You won't regret it. Alright, so again, just to kind of repeat what I said, I know this is the G League, but the G League is a step above college, and Bronny should still be developing in college. He was rushed into the league, he was rushed into the spotlight, really things were just stacked against him, and he is blossoming right now. He's developing at a rapid pace. He's finally realizing that he is a part of the James bloodline. So let's take a look at some of the film and break it down. So right here, Bronny starts with the ball up top, he dribbles right to left around the screen, and then he rolls. He turns the corner super fast. He has underrated speed. He could have threw a lob here, but actually the defense penetrated perfectly to him, but with his left hand, he was able to scoop a floater up and in. This was a tough degree of difficulty. I actually don't think he should have made this shot. He just is developing some kind of shot making, and like I said, he's just playing with a lot of confidence. Like, the basket seems like an ocean. Everything he puts up, he thinks it's going in. He shot over 60%, and that is what turned my head, because it's one thing to score 40, but it's another thing to do it on efficient shooting from the field. But that is just what Bronny James is doing right now, and that is why he is getting all this attention. Next up, this play right here just shows Bronny's patience. He doesn't try to rush anything. He dumps the ball off, gets it back, and then he drives in left around the screen, and really there was nothing there, but he just waited, and eventually the defense made a mistake, giving him a sliver of space, and then he just put up the floater. Obviously this isn't NBA defense, this probably would not happen in the actual league, but still, it showed a lot of patience, it showed a lot of ball control, and he has touch, man. It's in the genes, and he showed it right here. I think if he can get this shot down, he can become a solid bench player in the NBA sooner rather than later. A lot of Bronny's buckets in this game were from being aggressive and cutting to the rim, and that is what I love to see, because even though he is an undersized guard, he still, like I said, is in that James bloodline. He has the ability to finish in the rim. LeBron probably was teaching him that kind of stuff his whole entire life, and he is taking full advantage of that skill right now because he's so fast, man. Nobody can keep up with him, and here he's able to get right by his defender, catch the pass, and draw the foul. Well, I actually don't know if this one got called a foul. It might have been a block, but either way, you get my point. I thought he fouled, but that's up for debate. Now here, starting with the ball back up top by the Lakers logo, Bronny does a few moves, basic crossover, gets right by his defender, and he actually bodies up the guy in the paint and moves him backwards to create that floater. This is something that you would have never seen from Bronny at the beginning of the season, especially not at USC. But now that he has that confidence, and now that he has gained a little bit of weight from NBA training, he's able to do this kind of stuff. And this right here is what could make him an NBA player in the future, because obviously you don't have to go up with this. If Bronny can get this down, he can pass it to the corner, he can do pretty much anything. And really, I know I am just repeating myself here, but the reason why what Bronny is doing is so remarkable is because he was rushed into the league. He's literally my age, I'm 20 years old, he should have had a lot more time to develop, but he was rushed into the NBA, he was rushed into the spotlight. I couldn't imagine being in his shoes. But man, is he taking full advantage of what he is. He really is maximizing his capability, and I think he could be a solid role player in the future, and he could be a star. I mean, I'm not going to write that out. 39 points is 39 points. Role players don't score 39 points at age 20. And now here in transition, let's take a look at Bronny's speed and athleticism, because he just blows right by everyone, but he doesn't take a normal layup. He takes a reverse one to avoid the block. That is something that he wouldn't have done before. He probably would have passed this out or done something like that in college, but his awareness has improved, his finishing has improved, and he is just fearless. Speed is obviously something that can't be taught, and LeBron, for being 6'9" and however many pounds he is a freight train, and I think Bronny has some of that in him, but since he's only 6'2" and he's a lot smaller, he can use that speed to the max to blow by anyone, and I think that is going to be his main asset when he does get to the league. He's going to be like a De'Aaron Fox type of player. Obviously he doesn't have the skills yet, and he's not really a point guard, he's more of a shooting guard, but still, you get my point. Now let's take a look at yet another tough finish, another tough bucket. Bronny starts up top, does a few crossovers, gets left, the defender actually stays with him, and he kind of gets doubled, but he just hangs in the air, he splits the D and finishes at a tough angle, banking it in. That is a tough bucket, man. I know it might be glazing, but I just can't even express it enough. And then here, starting on the left side, another blow by, but he actually gets his defender leaning left and he crosses right, and by the time his defender is able to get back on his feet and recover, Bronny's already pretty much by him, and he gets the easy layup, pretty much uncontested on this one. Simple stuff and super effective. Yet again, let's take a look at Bronny running in space off the rebound in transition. He's 3-on-1 here, but he splits the D and gets a tough finish for the and one. Finishing through contact is really something that he has added to his game over the last month. I'm not sure what made him wake up to the fact that he can do this, but I mean, really it's just impressive because he shouldn't be able to do this at his size. But again, he has James on the back of his jersey, so some of the superpowers are finally starting to come to life. And he was pretty hyped after this finish too. You could see the little smirk on his face. He knows he's got it going. And now for his first outside shot of the night, how about a little step back, creating enough space, knocking down the three, little bit of James Harden here. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Maybe this is an all-time glaze. I shouldn't say James Harden, but still, this was quite some separation. Again, I know it's G League defense, but I think he could do this in the NBA. I don't see an NBA defender defending this much better than what we saw right here, because the quickness is just insane. And you see it, he gives a little 3 signal after he knocks it down. It would have been really funny if he did the Jordan Clarkson and got low and just ran down the side of the court. If you know, you know. But anyways, let's get to the next play. Here again, he starts with the ball up top near the logo, crosses over right, forces the switch, and this is just an easy blow by. No center in the G League is going to be able to keep up with this, and he banks it in with the right hand. And something that has been impressive is that he's really good finishing both with the right and the left. Really, he doesn't have a dominant hand, kind of the same with LeBron. And I will acknowledge on this play, this was kind of all-star game level defense. Not really sure what the strategy was here. Now right here, let's look at this in rhythm 3. I thought this was pretty impressive because he wasn't set, he was moving, and this wasn't a catch and shoot opportunity. He created this shot himself, and this was kind of disrespectful by the defense. Not sure why he had so much space. The defense should have remembered that this is March Bronny. He's gonna knock this shot down. And I think the Lakers could use this right now because they're kind of on a little bit of a skid. I think Bronny should get some more minutes. I know he hasn't been successful in the NBA, but if you really give him time, if you give him like 10 games in a row where he plays 10 to 15 minutes, I think he could settle in. And then this right here was just nasty. This was the play of the night. I'm not even going to try to over exaggerate what it was. I'm not going to use my words. You can just see for yourself. He just completely loses his defender, hits the step back 3 in his face. Wow, what a play this was from Bronny. He would have had his father proud for sure if he was courtside watching this one. And you see it, look at his face afterwards. That is the look of a man who is in the zone. And then here, this was basically a heat check from 2 feet behind the line. Bronny knocks down yet another 3, and at this point he has takeover. You could see it in his face. He's grinning. He's absolutely hyped. This is when it was like, hold up, is this really Bronny James that we are seeing? Because this is just crazy, man. And then back to the finishing, we got a little crossover. He blows by the defense, finishes another tough bucket off the rim. He showed some touch here. Nothing crazy, but still yet another good bucket to add to the total to get him to 39 points. I know him being a competitor, he obviously wanted 40, but 39 is 39. This was the highlight of Bronny James' career so far. I know it was in the G League, but he is starting to get hot. He just scored 17 in the NBA. I am so happy for this man. I know my voiceover was kind of corny. I apologize. I didn't have a script for this one. I just kind of wanted to say what I saw. But really, man, I think Bronny can be a solid role player in the NBA as soon as right now, if he gets consistent playing time. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below if you haven't clicked off by now, because I know I'm super corny. I know those reactions were absolutely cringe, but still, I had to make this video because when I logged onto Twitter and saw Bronny had 39 points, I couldn't believe my eyes. I had to instantly make a reaction and a breakdown. That's really all I got for this video. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point, and if you enjoyed and haven't yet, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe because your support truly does mean the world. And also, let me know what you would like to see next, and until then, I will see you all later.